there one that you're really good at?
One dialect?
Yeah.
I mean, there's one that I've developed and I've gotten a good grip on, but I don't want to say it yet because you'll probably hear it in the show.
Listen, everybody just make sure to watch and hear him do
exactly.
a little. I'm gonna guess Elvish. I don't know. You spend so much time with Galadriel, you kind of have to, right? You've got to be able to communicate with her.
Yeah. I guess there's lots. She's a master at lots of different languages, actually. So I could have picked up a lot from her. Yeah.
What's your favorite of the 8 episodes and why?
I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say the last episode, the 8th episode. But I'm not going to say why. So I'm going to leave a few details, unexplored.
I can't say anything about it, but I'm going to say the last episode.
I haven't seen the last episode.
That's the part I'd love to ask him about, but I can't say any more, unfortunately.
I'm calling you in like 8 weeks and
exactly.
All right, that's it.
We'll chat then.
Yes, fair enough.
Do you know all the secrets? Like, do they sit down and say, here's everything that's going to happen with your character? Or are you do you not know?
I wish I knew all the secrets. I know some of the secrets. I hope I know more than most. I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But no, by all means, I do not know. So I feel the same as a lot of other people. That's the thing. People watching the show that don't know anything.
Right.
What can you actually tease about the relationship between your two characters in that sequence?
I think it's two people who meet so by chance. Yeah. And like Galadriel is a legend of Middle-earth, even though she's got thousands of years left to live and she's already legendary. And Hal is incredibly normal.
It's just a dude.
Yeah.
Just a Middle-earth dude.
I think that their dynamic, which unfolds as the show progresses, it's more... For Hal, he's at a point in his life where he is moving forward. He's leaving whatever's come in his past behind, and he's saying, I'm starting afresh.
You call him Hal, and it really does resemble a certain Shakespearean character.
Exactly.
And the transformation.
I've thought about that a few times, actually, when I call him Hal. I've been calling him Hal all the time, but then I realized, does he ever get called Hal in the show? I don't think
I never
so.
call
It's
him
just
Hal.
a little pet name that I have for him. But yeah, as it unfolds, I think what Galadriel represents for him is like a second chance almost, a new start, but inadvertently their relationship, she sort of starts to pull him back towards things in his past which he might not be willing to revisit. And she doesn't quite understand, and maybe he doesn't either, but there is kind of a real push and pull in their dynamic.
Have you ever thought where he might go in life had they not met when they did? What path was he on?
There's a chance. I mean, had he not met her, that his life might have not gone on. And I think that that's interesting. In that moment when they first meet, they are survival to each other. It's like if he hadn't met her, he was still stuck on this raft in the middle of the Sundering Seas. So I think that their fates crossing paths it opens up this whole world for Hal and makes him question so many things in his past, and then it also makes him reassess the kind of man he might be in the future.
It's an interesting beginning for them, I think, because in that moment, they're a means of survival to each other. I mean, certainly for Hal, he knows that he's probably not going to survive without her.
Yeah, nice. You're not allowed, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, come on. I didn't think I actually had that many tangible props. I had some very cool costumes.
Yeah,
I actually know. I have a
down
pouch.
and out a lot
What
of the
about
time.
my pouch? Halbrand's pouch that you see actually, I think, on the raft. It's like a necklace with a little thing there. I'd take that.
Yeah. What's it made out of? What does it feel like?
I don't know. It's made out of leather, kind of like suede-y
It's got a bit of
leather.
glass in it
And
as
then
well.
Glass.
Doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
Then it has like the little emblem on the front, which is cool.
Me, I'm excited about episode 6.
I keep hearing episode 7.
Okay.
From the people who have seen the whole show, which is not us. I hear a lot.
At this point, 6 and 7 are the
6 and
ones,
7,
yeah.
I hear a lot of exciting things.
I'd want to teleport.
That's been a popular response.
I think it's because we were all in New Zealand for so long. It would be great to have just
You
been
wanna
able to
go
pop back for a
Pop
cup of tea
back.
with mum and dad and then pop back to New Zealand.
Flying would be pretty cool.
But you must maintain a good body temperature.
Otherwise, you could
Oh,
only
with the
fly
flying.
really low.
Oh, yeah.
But low flying is quite cool as well, no? Or is it a bit illegal?
It would just be a bit like someone who just like would stand while everyone else is sitting.
Just hover while everyone else is talking.
Did you get to spend much time actually in New Zealand? For example, did you get to do the Tongariro crossing, which as a, Lord of the Rings fan was my, passage.
Cool, right.
Yeah, I loved it.
I did the Northern Circuit, which is where you do the crossing and then you do a couple other days going around. That was very cool. That was very nerdy.
That's the hardcore answer. I like that.
Yeah.
You can't top that though, can you?
I didn't do that.
Did I invite you?
I was too busy.
I was too busy not doing that. So that's what happened.
No, this was a solo trip.
It's just for me.
Going Aragon.
Oh yeah, you sleep with a sword by your side, don't you?
Yeah, in the scab. In the scabbard.
In the scabby scabbard.
Not in the scabs.
Like their meeting shouldn't have happened.
But I think when they meet, from Hal's perspective, he knows there's something special about Galadriel. And I won't divulge if he knows exactly who she is. I have a decision on that, but I think it's best left ambiguous. But yeah, I think from his perspective, she brings out some things in him and illuminates some things in his mind that he hasn't necessarily considered. Things about his own life and his own past as they get to know each other a bit more. But certainly when they first meet, I think he's quite standoffish and distrusting of her. I think I would like to be an elf.
Yeah.
Or have it make peanut butter.
Oh, that's a good... No one said that yet.
Yeah, so you just like hold it up and out of it just comes like crunchy peanut butter.
Crunchy. Yeah, I wonder what Tolkien would have thought of that. The peanut butter. The peanut butter ring.
Or like crushed avocado.
I thought you were going to say mashed potato.
I wanted to make mashed potato, but I don't know if I would be.
You just hold it up and it just makes mashed potato.
You'll be so gutted if this comes to pass and we all have our teleporting ones and you have your mashed potato.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are just flying around and just making mashed potato.
Next season, they're going to present Charlie with a ring of mashed potato.
Obviously, if it's a spoiler, you don't have to share, but just a specific episode that when you guys were working on it or filming, you were like, this is it.
Mine's a spoiler, so I can't share.
I would say episode 7 was really exciting. 7? Yes, 7.
Yeah. 7's the one where...
And she reminisces about her husband and how they met and that the circumstances of that were joyful. And Tyra's very funny in it where she says she met him when she was dancing and he's like, dancing? He's not Australian. Don't know why I did that.
Dancing.
Sorry. And it was really exciting when we got that because I didn't know that we'd be talking about Celeborn.
Yeah.
So that was a big moment.
Yeah.
Would you say you have a scene that you're most proud of? Without giving too much away, of course.
I would say me and Rob Aramayo. I love my scenes with you. Sorry.
Don't worry.
We actually had a scene with you on the raft as well that I auditioned with, and once those scenes were finally done, I was like, I've stopped auditioning.
Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of like, for me, it was, I'd had so many months of auditioning by this point and so many auditions that there was a lot of anxiety around the whole thing. So it was probably more of a relief than anything. Before then the next flood of anxiety of actually having to do it rolled in. But I went downstairs and I just sort of sat by myself and watched the cricket, which is, I realize in America, the cricket, Australia, where I'm from, play England every couple of years in this tournament called the Ashes. It's quite an intense rivalry. So I just sort of numbed myself for a little bit and just took a bit of reflection time.
Who has it in the makeup chair the longest? When you're fully in the most elaborate version of your character, of the two of you, is it like 15 minutes to get into that suit of armour?
It's definitely you more consistently.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're scabby, then it
If I have the scabs, then I'm there for quite a long time.
It's a scabs day.
Yeah. Because I had full body scabs. Ooh. Maybe not my legs, because I had leather trousers.
There's no need to show off with your full body scabs. You know, you taking photographs of yourselves in the outfit that you have on your phone.
Well, the orcs again are the best for that, and there are photos.
I've got one of you.
Loved your performance in St. Maud.
Thank you.
And there's quite a lot of physicality to that as well. You as well.
I'm a big fan myself, actually.
That's it.
It was amazing. I got to watch because I just stand there and watch.
No, you do a nice little kick.
There's a nice little thing at the end. Yeah, that was the last bit of filming. But I got to watch, we had amazing stunt teams, but you did the whole thing yourself. I mean, it was amazing. I think about that and I think
I am a huge fan of the world, and I've read everything and done all that kind of stuff, and I'm in the same boat. I really want the show to be good. I feel as though I'm one of the fans, and when the hope that I carry for the show is in the people that have been involved, be them cast members or crew members, whatever it might be, because as you say, like the love and dedication and people wholeheartedly throwing themselves into the project and the care was amazing to see and reassuring for me as a Tolkien fan. And there are certainly dangers in the Sundering Seas, so they're tested physically and mentally. I think at that point in the story for Hal certainly, and I think for Galadriel, is that it's a moment of survival. They have to survive, and they end up using each other to survive.
It was a big lockdown thing for me.
Yeah.
Remember when Christmas was cancelled? Or maybe you were in New Zealand. Yeah, you were in New Zealand.
We were.
Yeah, flipping it. As soon as I said it, I went, oh no. You were in Tongariro, weren't you?
Yeah,
oh,
I was on the crossing.
Yeah, sorry. Just popping a ring in Mount Doom. Sorry. Yeah, I was like, right. All the Lord of the Rings right about now. Thanks very much. Extended editions. Let's not muck about.
What
it was.
I don't really think about I know that, those themes are really prevalent in Tolkien's work, and I think that there is a grey area between the good and evil as well. But I don't think in those terms when I'm doing a character or when I'm actually in the world performing or doing whatever it is we're doing, researching, preparing, because I think that would just be putting like a judgment on it. I just prefer just to do the work that I'm doing, and then whatever is made of it is made of it.
So I remember feeling quite overwhelmed, and luckily it was a very physical scene, so you could sort of dissipate all the adrenaline into the action of what you were doing.
Intense rowing.
I was rowing so far.
So you didn't go out into like the Ethiopian Ocean to shoot?
No, we did it. We were in a massive tank. There was a film called The Megalodon.
Yes.
Jason Statham. So we used that tank. We were the next people in. Jason Statham and then us.
How's that feel?
Yeah, great.
So you can tell people all the spoilers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he looks amazing. Yeah, exactly. So you do get a nice outfit in later in the season.
Clean clothes.
You do look very heroic in that. The armor, when you first came out in your armor, everyone was very impressed.
Yeah, there's
like, it really does look like a hero.
It's pretty spectacular. The armor is very
and it makes you enormous.
Yeah,
you're, like, you're big anyway, but
I think it's just enduring, as you say, hope, love, stories of good and evil, and that nothing is entirely good and nothing is entirely evil, and that these stories will last forever, and they'll always endure, and no matter how old you are or what time you live in, I think that's the beauty of Tolkien's work, is it will forever resonate.
Charlie, you play Halbrand.
Yes.
He's a very mysterious character. Even after the 2 episodes that press have seen, we don't know much about him. No. Can you give us the basics and maybe a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, he's a human, so he's come from the Southlands, which is actually on this poster, which I realised. And I guess he's leaving his past behind. I guess he's at a crossroads in his life. So, yeah, I think he's trying to start afresh, start a new life. And then he meets Galadriel on the raft in the middle of the Sundering Seas. And it's quite nice watching their relationship unfold as the season progresses. Yeah. My first judgment on that is like, well, these characters need to fit into the lore. They need to fit into the world. They need to have the essence of Tolkien running through them, otherwise they're superfluous.
What was the hardest thing you had to learn to do for a scene?
Well, both of us actually, we had to learn to hold our breaths.
That was probably the hardest.
Yeah.
Breaths.
Breaths.
For how long?
I got up to 3.5 minutes. Charlie got up to 4:10.
Yeah, around that.
We learned to free dive, to spend a bunch of time underwater, which was a grueling, difficult, challenging process. But the payoff was
hopefully it'll show in the show, because we wouldn't have been able to do what we did without that training.
I remember in the training, because we trained to be able to do it for a couple of months in the lead up, and I would always dread it when the session, the weekly session would come around, because you're just going to go through excruciating pain for like an hour, because you just hold your breath in the pool and then you just do it over and over again for an hour until you
you pass out.
Yeah, exactly. Really safe.
I will say, actually, Morfydd was much more balanced than me on the raft. There was a lot on the waves. I would fall over quite a lot and fall through the cracks in the raft.
But neither of us ever actually fell off.
No,
which I can't believe.
Yeah.
Like,
touch wood. Not that we're going back on it.
Yeah.
I think Aragorn is an interesting similarity in that he has this sense of responsibility that he's not ready to face. Now, it's one that's quite different. The actual, what he's responsible for is very different to Halbrand. But I think the same feeling can be drawn between them both. That Hal has this sense of destiny, this sense of responsibility to something in his past that he's leaving behind, and he's trying to head in a different direction. But then there's also similarities with other characters in the Legendarium, characters like Beren and Turin and Boromir even.
Not sure if you know, but Argentina is very fan of the movies and the series because of Viggo Mortensen.
Well, I'd say I'm a fan of the films because of Viggo Mortensen, but for different reasons. Just was in love with him.
Me too.
Yeah. I think everyone was. Same. Me too.
Few injuries because
broke his toe. Every Lord of the Rings fan is like,
yeah, he did. Did he? I know about the broken toe.
It's not public knowledge.
Yeah, no, it is.
Is it? I knew about the broken toe.
The two towers, when he falls off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The stories of friendship and stories of love and hope over despair and things that we can all relate to. If we're going to the supermarket or, walking across Middle-earth. Hope over despair in the supermarket? Maybe not. Maybe that's the wrong example. But you could. Maybe just on a smaller scale.
Sometimes when I'm carrying lots of bags back from the supermarket, I feel despairing. And I have to...
The hope that you can make it home.
Yeah.
He must have got injured at some point, right?
I actually got away pretty unscathed, apart from Charlie did inflict an injury on me at one point.
I didn't inflict the injury upon you.
But no, we were looked after so much by all these teams around us.
I remember talking to you during St. Maud, you were in New Zealand, and you were giving nothing away. You were like,
in the middle of the night, probably.
Promoting another movie while we're all like, what about Lord of the Rings? She was telling us nothing, Charlie. She was like so good. I was like, she's a Marvel superhero in the making.
For this series to change your life, to be a turning point in your professional career?
No.
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
No, but it is. I think they've already changed, but it's so hard to. It's a challenge to remain present, and I think that's what we're trying to do. But amidst everything that's going on, and we don't know what the future holds. No one does. So, if there is an anticipation of more change, but I think we just have to embrace it if and when it comes.
And where do we find him when we first meet him? What's his kind of challenge or hurdle throughout season 1?
We meet him on the Sundering Seas in the middle of the ocean. He's leaving behind a part of his past and he's moving forward to a new life. He's kind of at a crossroads. So I think that's his challenge, is to be able to commit to that new life. Hal is a man at a crossroads in his life, right? He's leaving something behind in his past, and we don't really know what it is because we don't see him really in the first 2 episodes until the end, and we only see him briefly. So I think it's quite exciting, for me at least, to watch his journey unfold, and I hope for the viewers it's the same thing. He obviously develops this relationship with Galadriel, and there's a kind of a push and pull dynamic. She makes him question some things about his past and about some decisions he's making, in the future and where he's going to go.
Have you had a favorite fan interaction so far? I know you guys did Comic-Con, you've done a lot so far.
There was a fan that had dressed up in a perfect replica of Morfydd's armor, Galadriel's armor.
They'll do it like overnight.
We meet you in the most fantastic outfit at the beginning of the show, and we meet you.
Oh, my outfit's not so fantastic. I mean, it's beautiful and perfect in the context. Kate's an amazing designer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit simpler maybe.
You get better.
Yeah, it would blow up.
I remember that day really because it was a big. We knew it had the air of a big scene. I think, and we had a whole day to do it. We were just in a room the whole day doing so many different versions of it. And we were really working it with Wayne, the director.
Yeah, he always said that was kind of the scene.
A pivotal scene.
And so there was lots of discussion about it. And we were really lucky that lots of it was like done chronologically. So by that point, we kind of knew.
I think there's just a huge amount of conflict in Hal at that moment. That he has this whole new life set up for him. But there's this person that he is connected with. And I think he knows full well that she is going to be using him. He's going to be used, but there is something within him that is drawing him back to that, and something in his, I guess, destiny that he feels like is written in the stars for him to go with her. I think he spent that whole thing grappling, but I think what he really wants from her is just some kind of truth.
Why do you keep fighting? You're asking me to go to the one place that I swore never to return.
I think that's the overwhelming thing as well for me, is a huge thank you to the fans. Because you feel the support and you feel the love, and it buoys you, and as the days get closer to it coming out and we're going through this new adventure. It's nice to know that we have so many companions on this adventure.